Yeah, all the order, December 5th, 2015, 2025 Village of Belleville Board of Trustees. Hey, Shelley, it's all.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Please.
President Jervis,
Here.
Trustee Bannon,
Here.
Baumgart, here, Hammond.
Here.
Echo Kraut, here, Passmore is absent, and Ziegler.
Here.
We have a forum. The meeting complaints isn't on the agenda anymore, but it's, sorry, it should get up on the. You can skip that part.
Public participation. Public participation tonight.
I just have one signed up, Patrick Downer. And I'll get to you next.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Pat Downing from the town of Perry. I have represented this area on the Dane County Board for the last 20 years. Not the first time I was ever elected. The first time was probably back being a Boy Scout patrol leader, and then later on high school home representative. But more recently, I also served as chairman of the town of Perry for 24 years. And now 20 years on this job. I've served on the agriculture and natural resources committee all that time, and I chair the land conservation commission. What have I done for this area? I recently started the conservation fund grant where we, Dane County, contributed a little over $50,000 to the trail access that's running through the middle of your village. Took a land acquisition to do it. In the past, I was real proud to sponsor the restoration of Lake Belleville. And I'm kind of here mostly just to hear if you have any concerns that I should address. Elected. Well, and I'm also here to ask if you would help put me back on the ballot. You've all seen these before, and how about if I, hoping that I get some signatures, just pass this around.
You could pass around at the end of the meeting.
I've got to go over to Primrose for a meeting too, so I can't really even stay very long.
We don't really have an agenda item for.
Could I leave some with the clerk, and if you choose to sign, you could just do that on your way out from the meeting. That'd be okay with you? Thanks very much. I'm a fiscal conservative, and so I've got some door cards from the last time around. I just scratched off the old election date and added a new one, and also the district changed to include the town of Blue Mounds. So may I pass these out? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Where'd it go? Oh, okay. We have other Green County residents. Hey, Gary.
Hi,
Long time to see you.
nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Watch out for cord.
Sorry.
Thanks for the warning.
All right,
Who's up next?
Connie.
Okay, I just found out that we're not allowed to speak during the meeting. Otherwise, if I'd have known that ahead of time, I would have had something to say.
What's that?
I'd like to comment on the mural. I read a little bit about it and they want to put it inside. I think the money was collected to do it outside, which would be very nice. That's what all the towns are doing. And I'd like to comment mostly on the fact that we can't talk. So it's kind of worthless for me to sit here if I can't comment or ask questions while you're talking. And to me, that's kind of getting to be the whole government is about anymore. Keep your mouth shut and do what we're told. And I don't agree with it. And I don't know why you've changed it. And I just think it's kind of stupid that we can't ask questions and talk during the meeting.
No one else signed up in public.
I'm not wasting my time.
Great, next up, we got the consent agenda. All items of the consent agenda are considered routine. It will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested, in which the item will be removed from the consent agenda and consider the first item after the approval of the consent agenda. The village board meeting minutes from December 1st. November 25th check register and the fiscal year 2027 budget calendar.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Motion by Shelley, second by Debbie. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. President's report. Trying to limit my talking. So, staff reports, please.
Mayor will give her clerk's report, but the other item on there is the benefits guide. When doing research on just the items that are coming below in the agenda, I noticed that a lot of municipalities offer like a 3-4 page summary of just the benefits, especially for recruitment and then just for open enrollment purposes. So I drafted what that looks like. So sent it to you guys, just not for approvals, but just show you what we're using as they need for the patients and all that kind of stuff. That's all I have.
That's good.
I don't know any.
Most of my reports on the report, just a reminder about the nomination for time period and the dog tags. We have them all now, so we're ready to go since January 1st. Everyone that has a dog to. So looking forward to new brand new licensing and permit.
Next up, we have a presentation of the annual consultant.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rick Manthe. I'm a partner at Stafford Rosenbaum. So Stafford Rosenbaum is the law firm that works with the village. We, serve as the village attorney, so we represent the village in all of its matters. Few new faces on the board since the last time I've been here. So a little bit about Stafford and myself. So my law firm, we trace our roots back about 145 years, 150 years now at this point. We are a multidisciplinary firm, so we do everything under the sun. Obviously, municipal, local government law, environmental law, business, real estate, trust and estates, basically litigation, environmental, anything you can think of, we can basically handle it. So I'm a partner at Stafford. I've been practicing for for 10 years now. We basically, our role for the village is to, like I said before, just represent it in all facets of whatever legal services the village needs. So I work a lot with Gabe and the staff. We work on ordinances, resolutions, drafting, negotiating development agreements or any other agreements that come up. And a lot of other things that Ian can come up with. So he's pretty creative. So
That's okay.
That's a nice way to put it.
I think, I don't even know how long Stafford has been working with the village. Gary might know the answer to
Long
that.
as I can remember, so, before I got on.
Yeah, we have a long relationship. I know I've been working with the village for about 5 years, I think. Before that was Matt Dragney and then it was Tom Nelson. So it's a long line of attorneys at Stafford that have been working with them. So I guess I don't have a whole lot to add beyond that, but I'm happy to answer any questions or look into anything you guys need.
Thank you. Appreciate your counsel.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed working with Belleville. I think you guys have a good team here and yeah, things are going pretty well here. Very happy working with you guys.
Questions for me? Oh. Oh, all right.
Okay.
Thanks. Right, next agenda item. Discuss and consider the Main Street mural next steps.
I won't go into too much detail unless you guys need me to. But Arts and Culture has been discussing this. We obviously had some problems with the wall. The wall was on the table. We couldn't find a new wall. We scrapped, you guys have approved scrapping the contract with the artist. The artist came back and suggested an interior mural that he would basically paint and then could affix, and gave us a couple sizes, which is all in the memo. The Arts and Culture Committee liked this idea quite a bit, because not only is it flexible where we could affix it somewhere, but then move it and keep it if we ever, whenever we change buildings. It also provides a digital version as long as we don't use that for like earning money, basically. He's willing to give us a digital copy of that so we can use it in promotion. We can put it on the website. We could, who knows, there are some possibilities there. So the Arts and Culture Committee's recommendation was to approve the, I apologize, I'm right on my face, the largest size mural. For him to paint, and what he would do would paint it in his own studio over the winter time, and then he would bring it down up, because he would bring it up and then put it where we would want it, wherever that would be, where you guys are interested in it, putting it, and then so we would consider. My computer just crashed. Yeah, he would bring that up and fix it, and then so we would need to create a contract if you guys are interested in proceeding with the project at that, in that direction, like horticulture is recommended. The other thing I would say about it is that money for that mural would still mean that we would have other money in the mural fund, that if we do at some point come across another way, Arts and Culture talked some bits about other kind of outdoor mural possibilities, but there's nothing really like obvious or set in stone that we could do now. But if it's a project they want to bring back up in the future, that's something that we would have money to do something with later. Plus, we would get a nice copy of a nice painting of that mural that of that design that everybody quite liked. So
where are they thinking of putting this and how much is it gonna cost?
the cost is in the memo, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull it up and
It says 8 foot by 3.5 feet, or 3 feet 5 inches specifically, is $3,500. So. So we paid for design, right?
We've paid for the design. He's technically bought the paint to paint it because he had it all ready to paint up on that wall until we realized that wall was not structurally sound to paint on.
It was 112 West Main.
And refresh my memory, how much did we raise?
At one point we were at,
15,000.
yeah, but then we need some interest. I think we were at 16 or maybe even. It was just a shade, that's what I thought. It was good. I didn't want to speak, but it was just a shade under 18 is where we were at one point before we started the first couple payments before we broke the contract.
So is there any discussion with the artist on, do we own the digital rights
No.
to that?
Not at this time. He would give us ownership of the digital with this interior mural, as long as we had a contract that stipulated we weren't going to make money off of it. So we can't like create postcards and sell them.
Well, I guess what I'm thinking is, especially from when I was in arts and culture, I remember, this was supposed to be an outdoor mural, and I'd like to see an outdoor mural that, kind of markets the village. And I'm thinking, can we have it put on a billboard? Like an advertising billboard. There's, one specifically that comes into town on 69. Or could we have it printed onto, like an outdoor canvas type of thing that, I don't know the printing technology they use for things to be durable outdoor, but could that then be affixed to even the wall that's been in question, if they'd allow us to put anchors in the wall to hold it in place? And then if it wore out, we could always have it reprinted again.
I mean, why didn't
I mean, I'm fine with having, going forward also with an actual painted,
yeah,
indoor somewhere. But, there's extra money yet, and I kind of feel like we should pursue those options to see
So
what we could do to get it outside.
The Arts and Culture Committee has looked at every wall in the village. And to continue with this artist, I know there was other pricing to have it on an exterior wall. So what we did was we had him come back with this price for an interior movable. Basically, it would go on like an 8-foot heat pipe. Our thoughts are anything that we would place outside like that on any type of wood or even canvas, we'd have to replace it.
Right.
The weather, the heat, the change in seasons. That's what we wanted, like a more permanent, so people could see it. So we weren't reinventing the wheel with it.
Well, right, and I guess, this is some, like it just says, you could put the painted, 8x4 inside here or whatever building. And if we had the rights to be able to take the image and put it, on the billboard for the village, not selling cards or anything like that, but just something you could put outside.
yeah, I would say we didn't discuss at length what his thoughts versus our thoughts for that kind of stuff, but he did say that he was happy to include the digital rendering for us to use in marketing, promotion, et cetera, as long as the image is not reproduced for profit. That's no problem. And then we just have to come up with a contract. So it sounds like if we did want to put it on a billboard, if we wanted to put a digital, like we had talked in Art and Culture about putting vinyl on the wall, on the windows at 24 West Main and using that artwork on the vinyl with like something like that. I would have to obviously, if this is the direction we want to go, when we're creating a contract with him, like verify that he's okay to, hey, if we put it on a big banner and we hang that banner off Village Hall or whatever, that he's okay with that, as long as, like, it seems to me, based on what he said, that he would be, as long as we're not making money off of it. So, and there is money in the mural fund that if we wanted to go that route, I don't see why not. Arts and Culture did talk a little bit about what One West Main, we are building back on that. There might be a wall there available. It's not really visible as much as you would hope from Community Park. The side of One West Main, the east side of it, is very visible from Main Street, but once again, there's windows there. So this particular artist's design, which everybody kind of really likes, wouldn't fit well on there. But if that's something we're interested in circling back to in the future, we could consider that on the, kind of like what they did over at the Hop Garden, but on that, if it was something that we felt fit the village aesthetic, but
That's kind of where I was going. I was thinking about this over the weekend and I was at the last Art and Culture. So if we talked about putting it on that wall at the village hall, but I'm thinking, you know, that awning is going to come down probably, right? Or is that going to stay up?
Are you talking about where the
At West
drive-through?
Main.
The drive-through
Yeah.
is all going down because that's where the food pantry
Yeah,
is.
so I was thinking if we had a blank wall, for lack of a better term, on the north side, that maybe that would be a spot to go for it. Yeah, you wouldn't see it driving, but all the people that come across the pedestrian bridge would have an opportunity to see it. So I don't know.
yeah, I did.
I know this is,
Back there, and I took some pictures kind of One West Main from the pedestrian bridge, from the Veterans Memorial, from River Street, and even in the winter time where there's not a lot of trees, you do have a hard time seeing the back of the building just because there's a bench, I think, with a kind of an awning over it that blocks your view in a lot of spots. That's not to say, I know we're working on that, updating that entrance to the park and making it, adding some picnic tables, making it nicer, and that would probably make it more visible, but at this time, Arts and Culture felt that they really wanted to complete this experience with this artist. And then, and chose to recommend the interior mural with the digital file. And then if, like I said, if that's something where we feel like the aesthetic of One West Main could facilitate a mural in the future, they would circle back to it under the direction of whatever.
And also we were thinking too, that so many people donated to this. And it just keeps getting,
Right, I mean, the building at One West Main won't be ready for us, I mean, it's probably until 27 at this point, and we don't really want to make the donors wait another couple of years when this project's been going on since 22.
Not to be Debbie Downer, we only got about $7,900 left out of the money that was received for the mural, so we don't have enough to do a mural on an exterior building of any size. So especially after if you guys want to do the 8-foot, plywood.
I would say any kind of new exterior mural that's in the future that they wanted to do would be a whole new project, which would require a whole new set of enthusiastic people that want to try and put that together, but also do due diligence so they know the wall they chose and it's actually going to stick the mural.
Else over there?
I'm with you. I think it should be outside. If we're gonna do it, we'd love to see it outside. Gonna get more views outside than inside.
And I'll reiterate, there's just no outside wall that, I mean, can't create one. If that wall had been structurally sound, the mural would already be on it. I also agree that an outdoor mural would be the best, but this is the best option we have based on what's happened in the last 3.5 years since other people started this project. And I inherited it.
Define not structurally sound for the wall.
It weeps water.
It's a cheese factory and they got their cooler set right up against the wall without insulation, and so
we can paint a mural on that, it would peel off in less than a year.
So we can't put a coating on the outside wall?
No. We looked into a lot of options over the summer on how we could fix that wall to make it more feasible, and there was just no cost-effective way to. Also, it's not our wall. Amnet owns that wall. We were renting it for 7 years, basically, for this. And you don't really have the authority to tell them what they can and can't do with their property. So, and like I said, if we had been able to put that out on that, we would have figured out the way to do it. This is the next best solution because the solution we asked, or what we brought to you guys earlier, I think it was September, was just to bring some contracts and be done with it. The artist came back with this. He still really wants to paint this. And that's why he came back with it. I took it to Arts and Culture. They said he'd get back to you.
We had $18,000 in there. What have we spent half of that on already?
On,
The first year we were doing a little more was, money to prep the wall.
Okay.
And then the payment for the artist, we made the first contract payment.
we've been the first two contract payments
Right.
to that artist. And he did do a bunch of meetings with us when we were choosing the
And a couple
mural
of different
design
renditions, yeah.
and editing and all that stuff, which was part of the contract.
Didn't you write the lift?
We did reimburse him for a lift that he came out to paint it and realized it wasn't painful. And we agreed to help cover some of his lost costs, basically. He's lost more on this project than we have.
Trust me, we have looked at every blank space in this village to have it outside, but it's just. There's just nothing.
So this is effectively.
At this point, I mean,
Of Public Works.
the Public Works building, if you were planning on, I know we have in the future plans to not be in that Public Works building. I don't think putting a mural on it that we want to be visible for 7 to 10 years would be an ideal situation at this point. It's fine.
The advantage to the 4x8 piece of plywood is that it would be movable.
Yeah. So even if we had fixed it in this room, let's say, and it would still be around, it's not going to be affected by weather. We could move it other places in the future.
Move it around like normal. Where's the mural?
I'm not moving it around.
Fire station said no. Trust me,
We're just gonna think of big walls.
we've looked at every option possible. We looked at the outside of this building. We've looked at the fire station. We looked on Main Street, every building. The problem that we really ran into is that we don't own a lot of those buildings.
That was putting your on the side.
The whole point of the mural was kind of to be interactive, so people could walk up and say, hey, I'm in Belleville. Well, there's no walls that will accommodate that. One of our first thoughts was fire station, but they immediately said no way. So we this was our last option.
Against the side of your house.
I said, ain't my fence. Ain't my fence. Then you know, Main Street, and that's kind of, we were trying to keep it in the downtown area.
Makes the most sense.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with the interior mural from Mike Farrell in the 8 foot by 3 feet 5 inch dimension for $3,500. And that we need to verify with him that it includes the digital rights that we can reprint the image not for profit. By Mike, second by Dave. Shelley, sorry. Any other discussion? Tony, anything? Scott? Aaron? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. We'll finally get a mural.
Yay.
Yeah. Discuss and consider the updates to the compensatory time policy. Gabe.
Yeah, so it's a compensatory time is just comp time. This is a benefit that only non-exempt employees get, which non-exempt are hourly employees. Exempt employees are salaried employees are not eligible for comp time. What this new policy states is changing it from a 40-hour cap to an 80-hour cap. Originally, we had no cap at the end of 24 and beyond. The new manual that went effect January 1st of 25 changed that to 40 hours so we could much more budget and know what was going on with comp time and budgeting purposes and financial wherewithal. We knew that we would review it again as the manual is a living document, and due to, I think, more flexibility for staff and is their time. Staff recommended 80 hours and the finance committee did make that recommendation to you guys.
I will say there was lengthy discussion at finance, but the motion did pass to go to 80 hours. There were some concerns about that staff or that comp time and minimum staffing for departments. So we will be discussing that at Public Works specifically next month when we meet again to make sure that we aren't left unstaffed for some reason. So
I will add that comp time is, you can use comp time as a payout or you can use it as time off. So
How many hours of comp time have been used this calendar year? And across how many employees?
I
Actually,
actually,
what idea?
I couldn't tell you offhand.
Or, you know, what is that comp time thing looking like? You know, you know, if everyone this year could,
Sure.
that's hourly, they could have 40 hours sitting in the bank at the end of the year here, and we're gonna have to pay that out. I'm just kind of curious as to how much has been used, you know, how's the tracking going of it?
Understand. I couldn't give you a number, right now, on that.
I think, I don't know. I think there's two of your guys, who we paid out this last paycheck. One had the full bank and one was partial bank. The one that had a full bank had actually already used some earlier this year, if you remember, because
Yeah.
it was 80, whatever. This year is a really bad example.
It's,
So without a fully staffed PD, not that this affects PD because they're contractual, we'll know exactly what their comp time usage is like. I mean, in the past, cumulatively, it's been about equal between all of PD and one person that works in DPW. Because there was, before this past year was 300 or something hours was in the bank for that one person. Whereas it was probably the same usage for all of PD with the old staff.
So maybe a slightly different question on that is, are you confident that we have a tracking mechanism in place that, you know, if someone starts using their comp time in June and July, you know, and they want to go take an extra day off here and there, or get paid out a couple hours because they got some bills or something that, you know, they've accumulated. How do we know that, how do we make sure that we're not adding back into the bank, you know, that the cap of 40 or 80 hours is maintained and that we're not going to accidentally pay them out more.
There really isn't a way. Unless,
I mean, it could be as simple as a spreadsheet.
well, I'm saying, unless each department head was to review their own people's hours every payroll and keep tabs. Because I mean, we can obviously print the benefit report to see how much comp time is earned versus used, what the banks currently sit at, like that. I mean, I can put a cap for the pay code that allows comp time to be accumulated to say it'll only accumulate up to this point and no further. So that they're unable to work that into comp time up to a certain point. But then if they have 40 or 80 hours of comp time, use 16 hours and then add another 16 into it after, there's nothing.
Right, that's my concern is because it's, you know, it's written here, it's not supposed to regenerate. So you get 80 hours for the year and that's it. So even if you accumulated comp time because you worked extra of 90 hours or something, you only get paid 80.
Drew would need to have a spreadsheet and we do approve, he does approve his guys' payroll, so that would mean he would just have to, when he goes through the bi-weekly scan, we just have to keep track.
Yeah, I will say this back and forth has made it clear that, you know, whether it's 40 or 80 hours.
Yeah, that's, I was, because one I was gonna.
Whatever the number is, we absolutely need to impose a better tracking mechanism, which I think, right, is probably not terribly difficult. It's just something that we have to, yes, we have to do this.
Because I can tell that the program to cap it at a certain amount, but I can't give it that detailed instructions. There's nothing to do that.
And I don't know, it sounds like there's some kind of report you can pull throughout the year of comp time accumulated and used. Certainly you can track then, you had 80-hour bank, or how much did you ever accumulate? And then how much did you get paid out? Do a little math there and make sure. At some point, but I still sense that you're gonna hit a spot where you're like, oh, we paid too much. And how do you claw that back if you check it quarterly or something?
So again, that really doesn't make a difference because if we cap it at 80 hours and they get to 85 hours, they're just gonna get that in straight overtime. It just won't go to the comp time. They gotta get paid for it. We can't not pay them. It just doesn't count.
Yeah, I don't.
It's comp time.
You can only have 80 hours a year in comp time. It's to say you can only accrue 80 hours, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they work 80, if they build up 80 hours of comp time and then take 20 of it, you know, if they work 20 more hours.
It's just-
It's going to be overtime. We have these areas running, we have to pay them for it.
And one of the goals of knowing how much comp time is being accrued overall by a department is, that's an indicator of maybe we need to get more staff.
Overtime is definitely,
And then at what point, you know, you're paying out overtime, time, and then it justifies another body.
Yeah, if we say you can only do 80 hours a year, we could be in a position in public works where we get a snowstorm, everybody's capped out on the maximum amount they got a year and we don't have anyone to plow. So it's a back, it's not a,
Yeah.
that's the maximum amount they can build up. It's not the max they can take a year, correct?
Yeah.
And if they're done with that by the end of March, if we have a bad winter.
Yeah.
If we have a bad winter, they may not be able to do any more comp time for the rest of the year and then they get overtime. So
Straight up.
The way it reads in the memo is that they can only do 80 hours a year and needs to emphasize that that's a max of 80 in the bank, not total for the year.
No, it is total.
it's a total of 80.
It's total,
They can only get up to 80.
Comp time.
right?
Yeah, but if you,
Pay for 80.
Yeah, you're not gonna need to bill.
so they can build up 80 hours.
Yeah, if they use 40 of it, then they'll just have 40 left in their bank. And it doesn't rebuild, so all future is just overtime. If they've reached that age, they can spend it whatever they want. They can,
So if someone say Public Works by September has 80 hours of comp time. We have them plowing at 3 a.m, that's going to be time and a half.
all overtime, yeah.
Which is really what comp time is, they earn another time and a half, so, but, except, I mean, that's a valid point. I don't know if we ever and public works would be the easiest to do because police is difficult because of staffing issues that we've had the last couple of years. But it would be nice to see the end of the year, how many, some report, because we don't get that anymore. We haven't in a long time, but a report that says how many hours of comp time have been earned, have been paid or used, whatever, overtime, et cetera, because we really don't see those numbers anymore. So. And I don't know if you guys, I'm guessing you guys have some idea as to how many, we have a dollar amount, but what that equates to an hour is like Mike said, if we're paying out a couple hundred hours of overtime, then we maybe need to look at another position or a part-time position or something. So, but again, public works is all dependent on the weather. You have winters like we had the last couple of years, probably not, but
It is, but I mean, be aware, we haven't, you be careful about equating the number of hours to the number of employees. As much as I would love to come out here and say, yes, give me more employees, that would be great. Give me more people, that would be great. I've never had my guys here doing overtime just for routine tasks other than like our water testing.
Right.
It's always driven by the environment or, water main break, something, some kind of disaster like that. So additional staff would help with that, like as much as I'd love to sit here and tell you, yes, please give me more staff.
but I mean, as we get more roads, all the roads we're gonna add, and if it just takes longer to plow and we have to pay, because the roads have to get plowed.
True.
And it takes overtime, then that's where we need to do an analysis of, okay, are we okay with paying that overtime and working the guys, 50, 60-hour weeks, could be some weeks depending on the winter, or do we look at hiring and with all the stuff that goes on in the parks in the summer and everything? So I think that's an analysis that we can do, but we just don't get the figures to do that. So.
Is there a reason code for overtime? Like, weather related, emergency water break, or emergency related, like a main break versus general, daily work.
You can put notes into individual timesheets, but there's nothing that's trackable through the software. Like you can go back and review the old timesheets to see who did what when, but that's it. There's no reporting.
And run advanced administrative overhead and everything to keep track of it, but to the point of, you're looking at staff when the routine things are not getting done and requiring overtime. Generally, right? So.
To your point about tracking, tracking 80 hours be incredibly easy to do with the spreadsheet. Honestly, I just needed to know this is something I have to do, and it's very simple.
So just because, like Mike said, I think we're getting a little off track, and this is probably a finance issue that we should discuss in more detail in our public works. But so I'll make a motion that we approve the comp time policy change to 80 hours maximum a year.
Second.
On to Debbie. Any comments, Tony? All right. In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item of business. Discuss, consider the update to the parental leave policy.
All right, so very similar to the comp time during my review, I took a look at what our parental leave policy is. At this moment in time, each person receives 12 paid days per year for the adoption of a child. The new policy is 160 hours, which is 4 weeks of paid parental leave. It's prorated for anybody who's not a full-time FTE. It can be done intermittent and according to FMLA guidelines and standard operating procedures. And I did some supplemental research to see what other municipalities did. That's the next page, and then the page up is the. This was recommended by finance.
Finance's recommendation was 4 weeks.
Yep.
You have 100, or we have
4 weeks is 100.
160 hours.
math challenge today.
Originally, the recommendation was 240.
Yeah,
With the 6
right,
weeks.
yeah, okay.
So this is pretty standard to stay competitive in today's workforce. In terms of finding, staff.
It's actually a really nice benefit. Back in the day.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the revised paid parental leave policy.
Second.
Yeah. I did some digging. I found it was about 50-50 mix between paid and unpaid time. And considering that we don't have a sick time bank anymore to draw from, which would normally be the go-to funding source for a situation like this, because it is something you can prepare for. You have several months for your bundle of joy arrives. That would normally be the case. Those are my comments. So, I guess it is improving our benefits package. And as reluctant as I am, because it's never offered to me probably in my old age. I feel like, attracting younger people that have interest, hopefully, in government work is hopefully it'll help. So, any other comments? Scott? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item. Discuss and consider the update to the employee service and the recognition policy.
Yeah, so this is the policy in what is incentive has not changed. The last sentence is after the payment, the incentive payment bonus will be paid on the first payroll in December following the anniversary date. This is what we do for all of these payrolls, comp time, anything like that. If termination of employment ends after the employee's anniversary date, the employee will receive the incentive as part of their final supplemental paycheck. I'm not including this in there, but again, some employees use too much PTO or there's a payment due to the village. That would just be part of anything that we might have to subtract back. It's not part of this, but that's just current. That's just policy. And then we also try to recognize volunteers as well. So the only change is the anniversary date when we pay it out. Just to make it more clear. It's not on the anniversary date, it's every year to make things simpler, but if they leave after their anniversary date, we will pay it out.
I'll make the motion that we approve the revised employee service and recognition policy.
Second.
Motion by Gary, seconded by Shelley this time. All right, just I wanted to read the last sentence. And see one more time. The termination of employment ends after employee's anniversary date. Employee receives.
Will receive.
Yeah, typo was in here. Employee will receive the incentive as part of their final supplemental check. So
I'll check that.
It's after the meeting in finance. Doing stuff after the meeting.
So with editing updates for clarity. You just a motion.
A question, Gabe.
Yeah,
If somebody's full-time, they drop down to part-time and they're at 10 years, do they still get the 10-year or?
as we do it now, yes. At the current incentive, this isn't in there, so we can't look at this. If you're 80% of an FTE, we usually give 80, as it currently is, we give 80% of the one-time bonus. So I don't know how we would do it if somebody came down on that. I think we'd have to look at what's probably the fairest, but currently what we do is if you're 80% of an FTE, we give you 80% of whatever it is. That situation hasn't come up, so I'm not sure.
I don't know how concerned they'd be over $1,200. If they're willing to,
Stay there.
yes, it depends on the situation of how they end up coming part-time, but. Okay, me personally,
It just says long-time employees. It doesn't say full-time or part-time, so that's why I was asking.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to use. Doesn't specify full and part-time.
So it does says provide full-time and part-time employees longevity incentive.
Oh, sorry.
it's written, the incentive's the same.
Yeah, so I guess, yes, with the new policy, based on that writing, it would be the same. You are correct. I guess we have until the end of this year to wonder the part-time status.
It doesn't say full and part-time.
Second sentence. To recognize long-time employees and acknowledge their loyalty, the village shall recognize employees at a board meeting, provide regular full-time and part-time employees a longevity incentive upon their fifth anniversary. And then part-time employees are defined as anybody who's eligible for FTEs or for WRS status.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discuss, consider resolution 2025-38 designating a polling place.
So for many years, the polling place has been Village Hall, but with the use now of this room, and being what it is, we would like to move the polling place here. I think it's a better space. It's a bigger space and it'll be more useful and less disruptive to the Village Hall, because not only will the collections not be happening in the office, but also the food pantry can operate at the same time without having to close for elections and stuff. We don't have to use the room anymore. So you guys are the governing body. You need to designate your polling place. This is what this resolution does.
So will we still be doing the same thing when board meeting falls on the night before an election, we'll meet at the library?
Yes. Because we will set up this room on that Monday instead of the Village Hall. Now, in a couple of years, we hope to have a second polling place, and that would be at the library, and then I'm not sure what we're going to do, because I'm going to steal all the good spaces. It's that important.
Meet in the damn bar.
There you go.
I make a motion that we designate Village Center as our polling place.
Second.
Motion by Scott. Aren't that busy that our traffic patterns in the front and out the back aren't that big of a deal. That was always nice.
Well, you could.
No, that door's.
There's a security alarm that'll go off.
I actually talked to fire about using that door, and the bigger issue is actually the stairs. You don't want people falling down the stairs, so we would have to create some sort of barrier. And I,
Baby gate.
yeah, but basically that's exactly what it would be. I think.
You could still fall over a baby gate.
I think just based on how elections, even though we tried people to come in the front and out the back in an election, a lot of times people would come back out the front again. I honestly think this space with the entryway and stuff is gonna be big enough that we're not gonna have too much trouble with the flow. But I've got, my election, chief election inspectors coming tomorrow. We got some time.
Motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And Resolution 2025-39 designating poll workers.
So, this comes up every other year. The election cycle is 2 years, basically. Starts in the even, ends in the odd. And every 2 years, we're required to designate our poll workers. You'll see the political parties from both counties have the option to set names that they would like to work our polls. Only the Republicans in both Dane and Green set names this year. And everybody else is a long time good worker. So as the governing body, you guys just have to designate this list, and then as things change or rotate, I have purview on actually who works elections. But this is ceremony that we have to do. So
I move we approve resolution 2025-39.
Second.
Motion by Gary, seconded by Scott. Discussion. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now we have poll workers. Next item, discuss, consider forfeiture amounts for select ordinances.
Chief, Judge, I don't know which one of you wants to take it. No, this is your agenda item.
Yes, your agenda item.
There was some ordinance that we weren't aware of that were entered, or you guys approved of, however you want to say it, and we need bond amounts on them. So 50 plus court costs would be what these are actually. And Chief, I don't know if there's any more to be on the bottom schedule or not, because I wasn't aware these were even passed until it came to my attention.
I don't think anything's passed.
Well, no, this is still the old ordinance. So so that was gonna be my two comments. I thought that at some point you were gonna rework the whole bond book or get the new ordinances. Okay, so,
That's what we were told.
okay,
We were waiting for that.
all right,
Because they're the same, and I checked around to the other judges too, and we're right rules.
okay.
$50 sounds low, but it's $50 plus court costs, which I think it kicks it up to $124.80. Citation. We're just trying to clean up and help you guys out with the ordinances.
So once the new ordinance are approved by this board in March or April, then you'll have to go through the whole book and change all the code or the ordinance numbers and yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That was my question.
That's what we're doing.
Yes. Do these have to be adopted by resolution or can we just do it like this? I was gonna say, they usually have to be a resolution.
Yeah, so we could just, if the board wants to move forward tonight, we could bring back a resolution and then have it at a future meeting.
And we can put it on consent agenda.
Okay.
Something like that.
We don't take action, I was thinking it's gonna come back to the consent agenda.
As long as you guys are all good, you can approve it and then we'll just put it in the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the forfeiture amounts for select ordinances. And to bring it back as a resolution the next village board meeting.
Here, you said that,
Second.
sorry, not to interrupt, the new ordinances will be done in April or by April?
If we meet our finance schedule, February and March are gonna go to finance and governance, and so they'll be to the board meeting. We want to try to get them done while this board is sitting, that's reviewed them all, so hopefully at the April meeting, we can pass them all.
Any questions by board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Discuss and consider the West Village final plat application.
Ian,
This is, West Village used to be West Condo Association. So this is the final step for them, final process. The final plat, does, conform with the preliminary plat that was, previously adopted. And, the only change, I think, was with the utility easements, and that was all worked out. So, everything that's in the plat already exists.
So what you're saying is all these items here in the MSA document have been met?
Yes, everything has been taken care of. That's the last thing that we had to deal with. Like I said, the utility easement, but between Rick and Kevin, that got figured out. So.
And this is a recommendation from planning commissions.
Yep.
All right.
So I'll move that we approve the West Village final plat application.
Second. Any discussion or comments from the board?
Still a little concerned with creating a backdoor here. Be more our requirements for the future.
I can't hear you.
I'm a little concerned with creating a backdoor to ignore our requirements for new developments in the future, where we can, because this was built not meeting, there are a lot of zoning variances.
Well, it was, yeah, so PUDs are kind of like the great catch-all for all manners of evil. And so there were sections of the implementation plan from PUD that the developer did not meet. And he's going to be hearing from the Plan Commission in January, is my understanding, to address those issues, as I brought those to him. But as a whole, the structures, the watts, the overall installation of the public utilities, all of that did meet our ordinance. And so it's just a matter of changing it from one PUD to another. And it's messy for sure. But I don't think it
Weren't really variances, they were the new ordinance, right?
for which.
For when this was developed, it was based on the new ordinance. There weren't variances to.
I don't believe there are any. Yeah, I mean, as this development was being completed just as I started.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if there were new ordinance or whatever, but generally speaking with a PUD, it's more of kind of a negotiation with planning commission to be able to have a specific kind of development with specific density or uses or whatnot that may not necessarily conform to all of the requirements for that you usually see for like road width and sidewalk and all that kind of stuff. There can be exceptions in there, but there weren't any real variances that I know of. But like I said, with the implementation plan, which is, kind of how, what, when, why of what's actually be built, there were some inconsistencies with what the developer said they were going to and what was approved and what happened. And Plan Commission is going to discuss that with the developer. But I mean, as a whole, it did then and now broadly conform to our ordinances. You're looking, yeah.
To your concern, I would, it's of my opinion, that our inspection process, or lack thereof, was
Yes.
the bigger cause to having issues than actually creating a backdoor. So I think if we have good inspection processes going forward of all new development, that a lot of this can be prevented in the future. So
Here, yeah, we're moving on.
yeah, we are. So All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Right, reports from police commissions committees, DC.
Just looked at banners. Okay,
Did you make any decision on the RFP for the cultural estate?
I think we had some questions on it, so it was going to come back at the next one, if I remember correctly.
Thank you for passing my mural.
Hooray.
That's been the biggest thing was the mural. Marion Bright is still going strong. If you haven't yet, please drive through Community Park. See all the pretty lights. It's really great. There's a lot of really nice ones still there. And Arts and Culture actually met with the Community Club to start talks about our 175th next year. It will be
January meeting.
January 21st.
Yeah.
January 21st, we'd like to get as many groups as can be involved in the 175th, and we've got a meeting scheduled for Wednesday, the January 21st, in order to try and get community excited about and involved, mostly involved. Yes. Excitedly involved.
So that's January 21st?
Yeah, Wednesday, January 21st.
Here?
Here,
What time?
at 6 p.m. We'll be putting it on utility bills. We'll be like trying to promote it a lot, probably after Christmas, because nobody's paying attention right now. During the new year.
Okay, DJ.
Mhm.
DJ.
I'll play some soft rock.
You got the moves over there, you. Okay.
Is that?
Finance and governance.
Finance and governments, we took care of most of it tonight, the policies, and as I mentioned, we're to the stage where all but a couple ordinances have been recommended by committee to finance, so finance over the next couple of months, we'll be finishing up. We did 1 through 6 at the meeting this month. 7 through 13 or 14 are for our January meeting, and then 14 through 20, and then the definitions are for February. So like I said, I guess I should have said March, we'd like to have it to the board, so the board can like to get these done while this board is still sitting, because they're the ones that have reviewed it. So so if you want to read them, they were attached, all of them were attached to the last finance and governance committee meeting agenda. If you're really bored, there's 52 pages of definitions on there that you could read in chapter 25. So
It was as fun for me as it
I bet it was.
Planning commission, unfortunately, I was not able to attend that one, so.
We took care of everything pretty much tonight, except for the couple ordinances that we got to finish up with the next month's.
Does the building expansion get approved?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Seco will be putting on a good side, phase 2 of their expansion projects over there, so.
Thank you. Police committee.
We finished up looking at the bike and scooter ordinance that will be going to finance. And I think that's it.
So news and announcements. Right on.
Marion Bright.
Okay.
Oh, the cookie walk was a huge success too.
Anybody seems to love, I think it's here, huge crowds.
It's great.
Any other upcoming community events? For Christmas and the New Year.
Not village sponsored, to check the calendar, because I think the community has put some stuff there.
Agenda items, we've got one resolution from this meeting.
Yeah, that would carry over. MSA has a professional services agreement. It just didn't make it on the consent agenda for this one. And then, if you looked at the 2027 budget calendar, part of that first thing was the residential feedback survey. So I will have you guys approve that survey at the January meeting, first one. And then, we have to do an ad hoc review committee for all the land on the west side of town, in our covenants. So I'm just gonna have you approve that just because it's an ad hoc committee. It's more of a procedural thing rather than necessity on you approving it, but we do have to have it. So I will have that form for you guys to approve.
Rewinding just a little bit, Ian, when is the new tax bill supposed to arrive?
That's an awesome question. I think you'd have to call the USPS in Milwaukee to find out.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, they left the printer for Dane County last Tuesday afternoon. And so rates, they should have been here. So any day. Yeah, I know, nobody seems to have. So I don't know if it's just they got marked as a holiday because they had to go out to Milwaukee or what, but the correct ones are on.
Any update on it?
Yeah, the correct ones are on Access Dane, and we do have them. All up, and we can give you information or stuff down.
Second meeting of closed session.
Guys, read the thing. Here's an order.
The village of Belleville Village Board will enter a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85 subsection 1, subsection E, for the purposes of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified business. Whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, the village board may reconvene into open session and take action on the subject matter discussed in closed session. We have two items tonight: discuss and consider the Yards LLC development agreement and discuss and consider an offer to purchase for Bell West Lot 29.
Make the motion, we go to closed session.
Second.
Tony, second. And it's to be all correct. Yes.
Banner,
Yes.
Algar,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
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 In closed session at 7:12.
12. Motion is going to be approved, deferred, offer to purchase for Belleville Lot 29. So, Shelley. Right. And approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are now adjourned at 7:24.